Okay, today I have another 25 title ranking to cover, and this one's more Marvel and DC superhero stuff. I went ahead and typed up where the things are so I can keep track of where I'm at. In 25th place, we have X-Men Dark Phoenix. X-Men The Last Stand did this storyline better. And the visual effects in this are cool, but that's about all that it has going for it is good visual effects. And it actually shows when Jean got the Phoenix Force, which is kind of cool. But the story's just all over the place and kind of a hot mess. So, yeah, that's that. In 24th place, we have Teen Titans Go versus Teen Titans. And the original Teen Titans is a better show to begin with. The Teen Titans Go is very childish and little and geared for like 5-year-olds maybe. But the original Teen Titans series is a really good show. So it was fun to see the two go head to head. Kind of competing for relevance. As I go along, I'm setting up my horror ranking that I'm going to do after this. So, yeah. In 23rd place, we have Teen Titans: The Judas Contract, and I feel like they over-sexualized Nightwing and Starfire's relationship. So it's a more mature PG-13 Teen Titans story because it overly sexualizes those two and their relationship. So not really as good. And I'm actually going to switch a few of these around. Which is fine. So in 22nd place, we actually have the Eternals, and not what I have written down here. And as other YouTubers have pointed out, this would have worked so much better as like a 10-episode season. Because let's see, how many heroes does it introduce? Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It introduces 10 heroes, and it tries to do that, give them all enough screen time in about 2.5 hours, where they could have easily spent an hour developing each individual character and then done this, where we would have already been familiar with the characters. It would have worked so much better as a show. Then they could have dived into who each character is instead of trying to rush their introductions the way they did. The outfits look pretty cool, not gonna lie, but they're all pretty much the same outfit, just different colors essentially. They each have cool abilities that they got to showcase for like 2 seconds each. And yeah. In 21st place, something I like just a little bit more than that is the Marvels. Captain Marvel 2. I feel like they should have done a little bit more with Photon here leading up to this movie than they did. I mean, they introduced her in Captain Marvel 1 as like a 10-year-old kid. And then they jump to after Thanos snapped and everyone came back to her as an adult. And she got powers during WandaVision from going through Wanda's barrier 3 times. And then they jump into this after Miss Marvel. And they should have developed not only Miss Marvel, but also Photon a bit more before doing that. In 20th place is the Spectacular Spider-Man series, and it's actually a really good show. I thoroughly enjoyed this Spider-Man adaptation. I wish it had gone on a little bit longer, but it didn't, so that's kind of sad. So yeah. Let's see here. Sorry, I'm trying to update my ranking for the horror thing here as I go along to save me a little bit of time. Yeah. In 19th place, we have Superman Man of Tomorrow. Initially, the 2D animation style bothered me, but then I realized that one of my favorite Spider-Man shows, the one from the 90s, is also 2D animation. And I was like, okay, so that doesn't bother me, but this did for some reason. So the animation style here doesn't bother me anymore. It feels a lot less three-dimensional than the 2D Spider-Man series did. Like, but I've softened on it a bit. Only enough to have it in 19th place with these other titles, but it's in the best of category, so there you go. So it's not in the worst of list, it's in the best. So in 18th place, we have The Incredible Hulk. And I noticed something when I was watching this after having watched the 2003 Hulk fairly recently. The 2003 Hulk ends with Bruce Banner in Brazil, and that's where this one begins. So I'm thinking this is a loose sequel to the 2003 Hulk movie, which I think is kind of a cool idea to toy around with. But yeah. And then we have another brief pause here for a second. And this next show had only one season, but it is Wolverine and the X-Men in 17th place. It has a Hulk versus scene, it looks like, and um, it says over 10 hours of bonus content, which is crazy. But between X-Men Evolution and Wolverine and the X-Men, I like this one more. Because it's more Wolverine and the X-Men than X-Men Evolution was. I mean, Wolverine was in X-Men Evolution, but he wasn't like, hey, here's Wolverine type thing. He was kind of like a side character instead of being one of the leads. Another brief pause here for just a second. This one came out 2014. In 16th place, we have Kick-Ass 2. And this one's alright. I prefer the first one, but it's still a good movie. Although it's only 16th place good. So, but yeah. Okay. And let's see. Move this up a little bit. I only brought up one season worth for this next entry, but we're going to be talking about the entire series, and that is in 15th place we have Heroes, the complete series. This is season 4. There's some cool original superhero ideas in this series and supervillain ideas as well. And one of the characters is really cool. She has like healing powers like Wolverine and Deadpool do. And she's tested her abilities countless times, seeing if she can actually end up long-term hurt or not. And no, she cannot. She even jumped off a giant pier into like onto an asphalt road, and she was fine. So, yeah. Okay. In 14th place, we have Black Panther 1. It's a much more political movie than Wakanda Forever was, so Wakanda Forever is higher up in the list. But still a really good good movie. It properly introduces us to Wakanda after Black Panther made his debut in Civil War. And Wakanda is where the final battle for Infinity War is set. So, kind of an important place to introduce, because that's where Thanos decided to be a jerk and wipe out a lot of people. Okay. And then in 13th place, we have Kick-Ass 1 here. And Nicolas Cage's character looks like Batman. That's why I have these two movies under the DC universe. But good movie. Yeah. And in 12th place, we have Ant-Man and the Wasp, aka Ant-Man 2, with a lenticular slipcover helmet. No helmet. Helmet. No helmet. I like covers like this. They're really cool. The words Ant-Man and the Wasp are textured. Like you can actually feel the words on there. You can't feel and the or Marvel Studios, but you can feel Ant-Man and Wasp. So that's cool. And that one's just a much smaller stakes story where people end up getting dusted in the end because it happens at the same time as Infinity War. So yeah. Up next we have Batman and Superman Battle of the Super Sons, and it deals with Starro the Conqueror as well. And it pits Robin against Superboy initially, and then they're like, hey, there's this big old threat with Starro the Conqueror. Maybe we should work together to deal with this. And they're like, yeah, sure, that works. All right. And so it's a good like putting aside our differences type story. And yeah, good stuff. In 10th place, we have Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. Again, Shang-Chi is textured Legend of the Ten Rings, and Marvel Studios is. Well, Marvel Studios is kind of. It all is. Anyway, really good movie. It seems like the MCU has forgotten about Shang-Chi because he appeared in a couple of What If episodes, but other than that, it's just been him in this so far. And it's like, where the heck is the second one? Come on now. I mean, they could have put Shang-Chi 2 out instead of Agatha all along, which is a singing witch show. But at the same time, it's like, couldn't you have done Shang-Chi 2 already? Like, come on now. So, a little frustrating there. In 9th place, we have The New Mutants. And it introduces a bunch of interesting characters. Again, this one could have been a show like The Eternals, but it works fine as a movie. And it's kind of a horror-esque take on X-Men, where the final battle is with like a giant demon bear monster, and it's pretty cool. In 8th place, we have Suicide Squad: Hell to Pay, and this is a really good Suicide Squad movie. It's got interesting characters. It's got Deadshot, Killer Frost, Captain Boomerang, Copperhead, Bronze Tiger, and Harley Quinn. As well as I think Reverse Flash is in this thing. As as kind of an antagonist type character. And yeah, good movie. I enjoyed it. Let's see here. And in 7th place is currently the only season of Moon Knight. I enjoyed the direction that they were going with Moon Knight, and it's got some interesting concept art here. It has this winged character here. It's got Moon Knight himself, and then the Moon Knight avatar with the crocodile avatar guy. So that's always cool to see pictures from the show and whatnot, and like concept drawings and whatnot. So fun stuff there, and that steelbook looks amazing. I think Khonshu is who that guy is, who Moon Knight's the avatar for. I'm looking forward to a second season of that to see if they change it up at all, or like connect it with the rest of the MCU, because so far it's super disconnected. In 6th place, we have Wakanda Forever. And of all the movies in the MCU, this one probably got dealt the worst possible hand, where the lead character of Chadwick Boseman died before they were able to make this. So they had to pivot to make Shuri the Black Panther, which actually worked pretty well. She did really well in the job as Black Panther. It introduced Ironheart. I need to watch the Ironheart series. I've watched the first episode. I've heard it's not that good, but I want to give it a chance and see if I like it. I just haven't given it a proper chance yet. But yeah. In 5th place here, we have Deathstroke, Knights and Dragons, the movie. And this one I liked so much that I want to track down the 4K combo. Deathstroke is a interesting lead character. He's kind of like Deadpool in a way that they're both mercenaries with healing powers. Although for some reason, Deathstroke can't regenerate one of his eyes. Like, he lost one of his eyes somehow, and was never able to regenerate that, but everything else regenerates just fine for some reason. I don't know. Let's see here. In 4th place, we have Justice League versus Teen Titans, where initially the two teams are fighting because I think one team is, or I think the Justice League members are being mind controlled to be evil, and so it has an interesting dynamic there where the Teen Titans are trying to snap the Justice League out of their mind control, and it presents some problems for them, to say the very least. And it's an interesting, compelling story at the same time, which is cool. Um, actually, okay. In third place, we have Justice League versus the Fatal Five. And the Fatal Five are interesting characters. They're like the anti-Justice League in a sense, where they're these big, gigantic alien threats. And Starboy here goes back, I think, to another universe to warn the Justice League members that the Fatal Five are coming their way. So I think he's like on the other end of the universe at the time, or maybe he like comes back from the future or something like that. It's been a long time since I watched this, but in any case, um, it's a really good DC animated movie here. It has Jessica Cruz, Green Lantern, who's a interesting Green Lantern variant to use because usually you get Hal Jordan or John Stewart, and so it's interesting when it's somebody else. I think she's also a human from Earth, like the other two and Guy Gardner are. If I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong about that though. Our runner-up is Injustice the movie, and it's based on the Injustice video game, Injustice: Gods Among Us. So it tells a similar story, like what if Superman lost Lois and went crazy and became a dictator type thing, and some of the heroes were turned evil with him, and some stayed good, led by Batman. And that's an interesting story. I like that idea, and it's executed pretty well here. So good job on DC for putting that out. But my favorite of this wave of movies is Legion of Superheroes, because I'm a big Supergirl fan and she's one of the main characters here. I always find Supergirl to be attractive. She's always pretty. And here she's kind of sassy at first, and then she grows up a little bit over the course of the movie. I don't recall who the bad guys for this are. I want to say it's like older Brainiac models, because Brainiac 5 is one of the good guys. But yeah, it's just a good movie. Right. And obviously it's good enough to get first place here, so there you go. There we go, that's all set up. I've noticed a lot of horror movies lately have been called something Bloodline or something Bloodlines. Like there's Pet Sematary Bloodlines, there's Final Destination Bloodlines, there's one called Bloodline here that we'll get to in the next video, and then there's an older one is Wrong Turn, I think 5 Bloodlines or something, or maybe 6. I don't know, 6 is Last Resort. Anyway, a lot of Bloodline horror movies for some reason. But yeah, that is my ranking of 25 superhero movies, and I replaced the list with horror movies, so we'll get into that in just a second. But first, I'm going to upload this particular video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. If you liked it, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. And hopefully you enjoy this ranking and gives you something to think about of titles that maybe you haven't seen them and you're like, oh, hey, that sounded like a cool movie. Hopefully I gave enough detail on them to pique your interest. But yeah.